Hi everybody, Miss Mary again, back with another story time, a virtual story time from Midpoint Libraries. Before I get started, I want to draw your attention to this awesome background behind me. Isn't that neat? It almost looks like somebody drew it, and you know what? Somebody did. My friend Miss Alexis made this in our Innovation Point makerspace. She made it on the vinyl printer, and then we attached it to the wall, and isn't it cool? You should come and check it out sometime. But in the meantime, we're gonna have our story time. If you're ready for a story, wave hello. If you're ready for a story, wave hello. If you're ready for a story and you want us all to know, if you're ready for a story, wave hello. Hi everybody. Today, I want to talk about a particular author. Sometimes we have books that rhyme, and sometimes we have a theme like an animal or something like that. But I thought today we could talk about a particular person. And our author and illustrator today is named Dan Santat. He's a pretty cool guy. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. Before he did books, he also worked for the Disney company, and he did some neat work with them, some illustrations and things like that. And he has also won Caldecott honors and medal for his work. So that's pretty neat. So our first book today is called After the Fall. How Humpty Dumpty Got Back Up Again. Do you remember that story? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. We've all heard that rhyme, but this is after the fall. How Humpty Got Back Up Again. This one was written and illustrated by Dan Santat. Are you ready? Here we go. My name is Humpty Dumpty. This was my favorite spot, high up on the wall. I know, it's an odd place for an egg to be, but I loved being close to the birds. Then one day, I fell. I'm sort of famous for that part. Folks call it the Great Fall, which sounds a little grand. It was just an accident, but it changed my life. Fortunately, all the king's men managed to put me together again. Well, most of me. There were some parts that couldn't be healed with bandages and glue. So let's take a minute to look at this picture. This is Humpty's bedroom. You see he's got a bunk bed with all these cool pictures of birds that he made. But Humpty Dumpty is sleeping on the floor. After that day, I became afraid of heights. I was so scared that it kept me from enjoying some of my favorite things. I walked past the wall every day, and I would think about climbing that ladder again. I really missed the birds and being high above the city. But I could never do it because I know accidents can happen. I eventually settled for watching the birds from the ground. It wasn't the same, but it was better than nothing. Then one day, an idea flew by. Making paper airplanes was harder than I thought. It's easy to get cuts and scratches. But day after day, I kept trying and trying until I got it just right. My plane was perfect and it flew like nothing could stop it. I hadn't felt that happy in a long time. It wasn't the same as being high up in the air with the birds, but it was close enough. That's a pretty good looking paper airplane, isn't it? Unfortunately, accidents can happen. They always do. So here's Humpty standing down looking up that tall ladder at the wall. I almost walked away again. But then I thought about all the time I'd spent working on my plane and all the things I'd missed. I decided I was going to climb that wall. It's a pretty amazing paper airplane that it flew so high that it got stuck on top of the wall, huh? So Humpty climbed. But the higher I got, the more nervous I felt. I didn't want to admit it, but I was terrified. I didn't look up. I didn't look down. I just kept climbing, one step at a time, until I was no longer afraid. Maybe now you won't think of me as that egg who was famous for falling. Hopefully, you'll remember me as an egg who got up, got back up. Oh no, what happened? I see pieces of eggshell everywhere. Do you think one of the birds attacked Humpty in his egg? You remember me as the egg who got back up again and learned to fly. Look at that. Now, it's only a little high concept, but you know what? I think Humpty Dumpty, the egg, had a bird inside him all along and finally broke out of that egg and flew away. Isn't that a great story? I like that a lot. So that is After the Fall by Dan Santat. It's kind of a way of looking at things a little differently, right? Okay. So I have a song for us. And for this, we're going to think a little differently. Now, I want you to get up and dance around. I'm going to stay on my couch because it's a little more comfortable that way for me. And then we don't have to move the camera. But this song we're going to sing comes from our friend Tim Gill, and it's called Stick to the Glue. Are you ready? We're going to stick to some things. Clapping hands, 1 and 2. Clapping hands, 1 and 2. But if one hand is covered with glue, uh-oh, they're glued together. You stick to the glue, my darling. Glue, glue, stick. I'm trying to pull them apart. They're glued together. Stick to the glue, glue, glue. Stick to the glue. Stick to the glue, my darling. How about stamping your feet? Stamp your feet. Stamping feet, 1 and 2. Stamping feet, 1 and 2. But if you step in a puddle of glue, oh no! You stick to the glue, my darling. Try to pull your leg up if your foot's stuck in the glue. We're using our imagination. My leg is stuck. Shake hands with a neighbor. Can you shake hands? Shaking hands, 1 and 2. Shaking hands, 1 and 2. But if one hand is covered with glue, uh-oh. Now you're stuck to your friend. Oh no. Are you stuck to your grown-up or your sibling? Oh no. Give a friend a big hug. How about a big hug? Hugging friends, 1 and 2. Hugging friends, 1 and 2. But if one friend is covered. Are you hugging your grown-up? Oh no. You're glued together. Now you're together forever. Glue, glue, stick to the glue, stick to the glue, my darling. Brushing teeth. Brush your teeth. Brushing teeth. 1 and 2. Brushing teeth. Do you use some good toothbrush? But if your toothbrush is. Oh no! I used glue! You stick to the glue, my darling. glue, stick to the glue, go, go, stick to the glue, go, glue, stick to the glue, stick to the glue, our darling. Isn't that a silly one? I like that because, again, we use our imagination. Imagining that we have glue on our hands or our feet or our toothbrushes. Ugh, that would be yucky. Do not brush your teeth with glue. It might sound silly in a song, but it's a really bad idea. All right, so the next story I have for us, also illustrated by Dan Santat. This one is written by Gennifer Choldenko, and it's called Dad and the Dinosaur. All right. Let's see. Isn't that cool? It looks like he has a toy dinosaur in his hand. Nicholas, this is Nicholas. Nicholas was afraid of the dark outside his door and bushes where the giant bugs lived and the underside of manhole covers. His dad was not afraid of anything. Nicholas tried to be brave like his dad, but he needed help. Big help. He needed a dinosaur. So you see he has this toy dinosaur in his hand? But if you look at the pictures, you can see there's also a drawing of a dinosaur here. I think that one might be in Nicholas's imagination. Watch these pictures for more dinosaurs. Dinosaurs like the dark. Bugs are nothing to them. And they eat manhole covers for lunch and everything under them for dinner. When little Nick had his dinosaur in his pocket, he was just as brave as Big Nick. It's pretty cool that Nicholas was named after his dad, huh? You should have seen your son at the climbing wall today, his mom told his dad. No fear at all. He takes after your side of the family. And if you look at this picture, you'll see that while little Nicholas is climbing up the climbing wall, this imaginary dinosaur seems to be almost pushing him up a little bit with his nose, like the dinosaur is helping him and supporting him. Of course, there were times when Nicholas had no pockets. During soccer, he hid his dinosaur in his sock. When he swam, he tied the dinosaur to the cords of his swim trunks. And at night, he kept the dinosaur under his pillow. Then, one day at soccer, Nicholas played against the goalie who they called the gorilla. But no worries, Nicholas had his dinosaur, and his dinosaur was fearless. He kicked the ball so hard it shot past Gorilla's oven mitt-sized hands straight into the net. Everybody cheered. His mom had the whole thing on video. You're incredible, buddy, Big Nick told his son. Nicholas's face lit up like a glow stick. But when it was time to leave, the dinosaur was gone. Nicholas searched from one end of the field to the other until it grew dark. What are you doing, Nicholas? Asked his mother. Nothing, Nick said. On the way home, the night was as black as octopus ink. Giant bugs were everywhere, and their little car was nearly sucked under the street. You see the bugs? And they're the tentacles. Something's coming from under the manhole cover. Do you think that's really happening? Or do you think that's in Nicholas's imagination? Nicholas ate no dinner that night. He went to sleep early with the light on and nothing under his pillow. He dreamed about bugs as big as buildings and the world under the manhole cover. When his father got home late that night, he came into little Nick's room. "Did you have a bad dream, buddy?" he asked. Nicholas didn't answer. "It's okay to be afraid. All guys are now and then." "Who said I was afraid?" Nick shot back. "Nobody," said Dad, "but something's the matter." After a long time, Nicholas whispered, "I lost my dinosaur. He's the brave one, not me." "Let's go and find him then," said Dad. His mother heard them putting on their jackets. "Where are you two going at this hour?" "It's guy stuff," his father answered as they walked out the door. Look at little Nicholas's face. He looks kind of hopeful, doesn't he? Like maybe it's going to get better. Dad drove Nicholas across town to the dark field. Together, they searched the spongy grass. Sure enough, there was Nicholas's dinosaur, big as ever. Do you see it down here in the grass? Do you see another dinosaur in this picture? Up here in the sky. When they got home, they gave the dinosaur a bath and put him under the pillow. "Dad," Nicholas said. "Don't tell Mom, okay?" "Of course not," Dad said. The next day, Nicholas put his dinosaur in his pocket. But he wasn't the only one who knew he was there. Isn't that sweet? And there's Nicholas and his dinosaur ready to play some soccer. Now, what I really like about these books by Dan Santat is that, with his illustrations, is that there is so much going on in the pictures, even more than the words of the story, and honestly, more than we can show in this kind of a story time. So I encourage you to visit the library, pick up some books that have been illustrated by Dan Santat. If you're not able to come into the building, that's fine. You can use our catalog to request them and put them on hold. And, we're still doing our curbside service, so we can bring them out to your car, as long as you put them on hold ahead of time. And as always, if you need help finding just the right book, you can always give us a call. We'll be glad to help you out with that. Dan Santat. We read Dad and the Dinosaur, which was written by Gennifer Choldenko. And we also read After the Fall, which was written by Dan Santat. He has so many good ones. Lots of good illustrations to talk about. All right, so what can we do this week? I liked in that first book where Humpty Dumpty made paper airplanes. Maybe we could make some paper airplanes. There are all different kinds to make. So why don't you do that with your grown-up? You try some designs, your grown-up can try some, you can decorate them, you can color on them, all kinds of cool things. Paper airplanes, that's what we're making this week. All right, well, thanks for joining me for Stories and Songs again today. Next week, we're going to explore some books that won awards. I mentioned that Dan Santat won a Caldecott Medal for one of his books, not one that we read today, a different one. So next week, we're gonna learn about some more award winners. But until then, I'll see you later. See you later, alligator, after a while, crocodile, give a hug, ladybug, blow a kiss, jellyfish, see you soon, big baboon, out the door, dinosaur, take care, polar bear, wave goodbye, butterfly. Bye-bye, everybody.